Hey everybody, Carolina Knives here. This is going to be part 2 of the Ellaville Knife Show haul, I guess you want to call it. The part 1 did very well. Thank you all. If you watched part 1, liked, commented, all of that, new subscribers from it, everything. I really appreciate it. That means a lot. I was just kind of wanting to share my experience at Ellaville Knife Show, and everybody ended up liking that video a lot. So I appreciate it. But if you saw my short, I did get a lot of knives, like I said in part 1. Part 1 was more like the intro, kind of just thanking everybody for meeting me and taking a picture with me. I've never even expected that in my entire life. Somebody wanted to take a picture with me. And my dad and my grandpa and everybody loved it. If you didn't watch part 1, I'd stop this video now. Go watch part 1. They don't really tie together, but it kind of makes more sense if you see part 1. Got me a good cup of coffee in a Christmas mug. But I say, my grandpa says all the time, got to get a good cup of coffee. I was like, Grandpa, you say that about every cup of coffee. Have you ever had a bad one? And he goes, nope, they're all good. I said, okay. Anyway, I kind of have some sort of order going. This is all, believe it or not, all of these knives that I'm going to show you is all from the same person. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picked out. All from the same person. That's why I wanted to do part 2, so I could do all 10 of these knives as just one video to kind of go in detail of them. I got a little bit of an order going. I've cleaned up 2 of these. The rest still need to be cleaned up. Not super bad cleaned up, just kind of polished, and the blades on them are just phenomenal. Doesn't even look like half of them have been used. Just kind of been stored bad, I'll say. Other than these 2 that I'm going to show first. No particular order other than the last one I'm going to show is my favorite, and the first 2 I'm going to show are the most used and already been cleaned up. So this is a 1979, still got some oil in there, 1979. I don't even know what you call that bone. First time I've ever seen this bone in my life. Ignore the little bit of oil leaking out on the tangs, but this is a 1979, I'll kind of get that out of the way. 1979 case Copperhead. Excellent snap. And I'm not saying these are bad knives at all, especially not for the price I got them for. But, you know, the blade has been whittled on a little bit, and it's kind of been ground on. I had to do some work to it. Main blade kind of been almost looking like it was put on a bench grinder, but pin blade looks pretty good. You know, it had some patina on it, had some carbon patina on it. Got brass liners, like no gaps, no pin cracks at all. Just a well-used knife is what I'll say. Well-used, well-loved knife. All it needed was some cleaning up, and now it's good looking. But take a look at that bone. I don't even know. You can put in the comments if you know what this is, but the back almost looks like dark brown or black, and then it has a little bit of spotting and marbling here and there. And then the front's almost like a green, like a moss looking color. Just insane looking color on there. And as you can see, bolsters been cleaned up a little bit. Had a few little dings and nicks on them, but great knife all around. Now this other one, this next one, I'll get the blades out so y'all can see. It is a 1976 case, 1976. All of these are case knives, every single one of them. That's why I wore my case hat today from Miss Rebecca, Kevin's cousin. There we go. A large Stockman. 1976 large Stockman. As you can see, the blades have been whittled down. Not horrible at all. Still a very, very good knife. Now, you can see the back is almost like a red, very dark red bone. And then the front is like a like almost black. I don't know, like a dark brown or black bone. Just see, look, that snap. That one snaps. That one snaps. This spade blade, I did the best I could on it. Just kind of light snap, and it kind of just stays up, and you got to push it down. But still a great knife. I mean, that red bone is pretty on the back. Very pretty. Another thing I noticed, steel liners. Steel liners, steel pins, no brass in this knife whatsoever. Just awesome looking knife. This knife in mint condition, amazing knife. Not saying this is a bad knife, just a little used and loved. This next one, it was kind of, I don't know, it kind of caught my eye a little bit. It was one of those where, do I need this knife? Not really, but it caught my eye. And if you forgot, all of these knives are from the same people, or from the same person. This is a stainless steel. Looks like 1995 case Canoe. Just amazing bone, awesome shield. Blades, they've been used, but not sharpened at all. Obviously, they've been used. You can see the scratches and stuff, but not been sharpened. Great snap. There's the back, just awesome looking, just smooth antique bone with a very cool shield, just a bar shield, kind of just a good looking knife. You know what I mean? Just a very just traditional, classy looking knife. I'm not really gonna go over prices just because, you know, it's my video and I don't want to, but I'm gonna say I wouldn't have bought these knives if I didn't get them for the deal I got them for. That's what I'm gonna say. This is a $11.99 SHR. This did, if you don't know, that's a whaler. This did have, you can see XX right there, and kind of like a little ER. This did have whaler etched on the blade. Again, not been cleaned up. Blade has been used, never sharpened though. Still full blade. This is a 1970, this is a 10 dot. As you can see, there's the, you can barely see it, but all 10 dots, 1970, case, whaler, and I think they call this, it wasn't coca bowl, I think it's walnut. I did mineral oil this one just because it was kind of dry. But this is almost like, I have big hands. This is a bigger whaler than the other one I have. The other one didn't have whaler, case XX whaler on the blade, or on the wood, but it was smaller too. I don't know, I guess there's different patterns or whatever of the whaler, but this one is very, very nice. Just bigger, which I like that, and just single bladed sheep's foot, that's kind of hard to beat with snap like that. Once we get into these are kind of like the best ones out of the bunch. Not really saying the other ones were bad, just these are the better ones. Coffee, trying to keep my voice from going. There was a lot of talking this week, let me tell you what. This is a 1987, now brand new. When I show y'all this bone, you are going to freak out. Stainless steel, just incredible bone on the front. This is a, I think 94 pattern. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think a 94 pattern Stockman. And just, my goodness, look at that bone. Just glossy, shiny. Look at the little bit of white right there. Look at the white on the top. Just crazy looking bone. Look at the back. The back's almost just kind of like a marbled. The camera really doesn't do it justice. It's like a pretty bone, I think is what they call it. Again, for some reason, this one doesn't have a pattern number, which I thought was a little weird. And it has a half stop on this side. Half stop, and then sheep's foot, half stop too, and then full. Listen. Very light half stop, but still. And then spade blade doesn't have one. Main blade, half stop, just a very, I've never really even seen anything like this. It's bigger than a 6318, but it looks like a 6318. That's why I think it's a 94 pattern. But look, again, no brass liners, no brass in this knife. It's just steel pins, steel liners, a very just clean, it could be rare if I could find the exact model of this, but let me know if y'all know what it is in the comments. But I haven't really been able to do research on any of these knives. Obviously, the ones that I know, I don't need to do research on. But a couple of these Stockman are just kind of, I want to say rare or hard to find, just because I've never even seen a Stockman like this before, especially in the 80s with no brass in it. Just a good looking clip blade on it. There's the 1987. You can see the 3 dots next to the X, or next to the little Z's. Just never been used. I mean, still, I wouldn't say mint condition by any means, but still beautiful condition. This next one is, I think it's bone. It's very hard to tell. I'm almost, I'll say 99% sure it's bone. This one also has never been used. Almost like it was just bought and put in a collection and just never been used. This is a 6347 HP SSP. Stainless steel. And this one does say, it is a 1975, and it has the tested XX razor edge on the main blade. I'm sure y'all have seen that before. Yep, there it is. 1975. Almost like a brown bone. It's not red by any means, but almost like a very highly polished brown bone. I'm trying to get all the colors in there so you can see. Just beautiful looking bone. Again, good snap, good snap, good snap. Again, no brass in this knife. Completely steel. Steel liners, steel pins. Again, I think probably a pretty rare Stockman. I did oil these down. I didn't want to start, trying to polish them up and I cracked the bone or something. So I did mineral oil all of the bones beforehand. I wish I could describe to you, because it's hard for the camera to do it justice, but it is like, there you can kind of see it. Just a pretty looking brown bone is all I can describe it. So now, these, what is this? 1, to these 4 are probably the cream of the crop for me, just in my opinion. These are the best 4, I'd say. Now this is a 6392, and when I show y'all this knife, you'll be like, oh, it's used, whatever. But it's never been used, never been sharpened. It's just, it wasn't stored properly. That's the only thing. It just wasn't stored properly and just left in kind of a humid environment. And you can see the tops of the blades kind of have that pitting / patina on it, but it's because you can see it's the tops where the blades were exposed. So that's how you know it was just sitting somewhere not stored properly. This is a 1978 92 pattern, 6392, stainless steel. It doesn't say stainless, but I'm assuming it's stainless. Again, no steel or no brass in this knife. Solid steel. And you can see even the back springs kind of have that same, it's not rust, but just kind of patina on them. And pretty bone, that's what they call it. That's the name of the bone in the books, pretty bone. Perfect snap. This is about like a perfect size Stockman. Not saying the large Stockman, that's one of my favorite patterns, but this is a very good pattern. I've never even owned a 92 pattern Stockman. No pin cracks, nothing. Just all these, that's how you can tell they just weren't stored properly, because none of them have cracks. None of them are beat up any. Obviously, the first 2 are little whittled on, as you can see. Still good knives, but it's almost like they just weren't stored properly. Somebody had this collection and sold it off, and now I have a lot of this collection, but this one is just, this is a 75 pattern. I can't, my fingernails are so sore from opening all these knives. The spay blade is so tight. This is a it looks like 1980 or 1981. Kind of just all of these knives have beautiful bone. It's kind of a brown, a brown bone. At first, I thought it was Delrin, but then as the more I started looking at it, you can see the back. The back has kind of that marbling on the top. I was like, yep, that's bone. This one does have brass liners and pins. There's the Tang stamp, 1980, either 1 or 1980. 6375 pattern. Listen to the snap. But before I close it, same thing with the blades. Look, it's just kind of moisture got in them, and nobody ever wiped them down. Haven't cleaned them up. Haven't decided if I'm going to, just because they're still from the factory like this, just haven't been stored properly. But I don't know if I'm going to do any heavy buffing on them or not. They almost don't really need to, just kind of need an oiling and a little clean. But just perfect snap, never been used, never been sharpened. This one, I did kind of steal from Seth at Deep South Cutlery, just because he was eyeballing it too. But this is a 1997 CV. That same bone as the Canoe. Kind of like a smooth brown bone. There you go, CV. There's the pattern number. Whole blades. No pin cracks. There's the brass liners. No pin cracks other than a little bit of patina on the blade. I mean, it is, as you can see, so it's CV. It looks like it might have been sharpened. It is razor sharp, so whoever sharpened it did a very good job. And there's almost like a little kind of where it was oiled and somebody just left it there. So all of that's gonna come off and this knife is gonna look beautiful. But, coffee. In my opinion, best for last. This is, for the price I paid for it, insane. I mean, other than the patina, this is a 6254. Other than the patina, it is just, you know what? I'll quit talking about it and I'll show it. Carbon steel. Whole blades. Blades have never been sharpened, never been used. It was just stored improper. This is a 1970s, not 1970s, 1970 case red bone trapper. And you know what? Screw it. I'll say what I paid for it. I gave $50 for this knife. And that was one of the most that I paid out of the entire group I got here. Now imagine that. $50 is one of the most I paid out of this entire group that I showed. There's the, if you can barely tell, all the dots are kind of hidden. You can see a little bit right there. This is 1970 red bone, patina on the back spring. Haven't even kind of wanted to clean this one up just because I don't want to mess it up, if you know what I mean. Just the only thing, and it's not wrong with this knife, the only thing is the patina on the carbon steel. I mean, my goodness. But what a patina. That's what I'm saying. Just look at that back spring patina. Brass liners, brass pins. But take a look at that pretty red bone. My goodness. Camera almost doesn't do it justice. My goodness. Just, I collect trappers, so this one had to be at the top of my list. Look at that crazy looking spay blade. That's not a new spay blade. That's the older style. And just excellent snap. Look at how centered those blades are to be 1970s. Just insane knife for $50. Can y'all believe that? $50. I mean, and that's the most I paid out of all of these knives. Even this one would be considered the cheaper one because it's wood and it's not bone, and these are kind of readily available. But 1970 Whaler for under $30. Guys, come on. Insane. Thank y'all for watching. Do me a favor. Tell me which one was your favorite. We'll do a little bit of a recap. We got the Copperhead with kind of the moss bone, little used. Got the 75 pattern red bone, little used. We got the Canoe, smooth brown bone. We got the Case Whaler with the XX on it, larger one. We got the, I think 47 pattern, Stockman and kind of that, pretty bone. And then we got a brown bone, 47 pattern, my bad. 47 pattern. We got a brown bone, 92 pattern. This was the 92. Again, pretty bone, my bad. Pretty bone, 92 pattern. We got a brown bone, 75 pattern. A smooth brown bone, Copperhead, and the cream of the crop, the best knife on the table, the 1970 10 dot case, red bone, pretty red bone trapper. Gosh, beautiful knife. Let me know what was your favorite. I think I've got about 5 knives, maybe 6 knives left to show y'all. That'll be in part 3. I just kind of wanted to have this as a video by itself just to show y'all the absolute insane prices and just beautiful knives that I got for, you know, pennies to the dollar, in my opinion. I mean, on eBay, these knives could go for double the price. If I could sell them, I could make my money back instantly. But because of the story, because I collect all of these patterns, other than the Canoe's a little off one, still a beautiful knife, but I collect all these patterns. Copperheads, Stockman, I have 2 other whalers, beautiful knives, insane prices. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all for watching, and gosh, just look at that one more time. Let me know what y'all think. Have a nice day.